guys, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to create a Vesak Lantern in Blender 3.1. Started! So firstly, let's use the default cube. So click on the default cube and click on tab, go to edit mode. Now hold down Shift Ctrl P to bevel vertices. Now as you can see, if you bevel too much, it will intersect. So let's click on C. This will make it not intersect. Now we've created the main basic shape for our Vesak Lantern. So let's tab out and then create a duplicate of this. This will be the wireframe. Let's name this frame. Let's name the original cube as face. Okay, so now let's click on the frame, then go to the modify properties and click on add modifier and then wireframe. If you can't see the wireframe modifier, that's because it's way down. So click on the arrow and then click on wireframe. Now this is the frame for our Vesak Lantern. So increase the thickness to 0.03. Okay, so now let's create the handle. So Shift A, curve, and then circle. Now it's hidden inside the Vesak Lantern. Here. So let's rotate this in the Z axis 90 degrees. And then GZ to move it up. Okay, so now let's tap into this. Then you'll see there are segments. So click on these two segments right here and then go to control points, then handle type, and set the handle type to vector. Now let's click on the bottom segment and then GZ, moving up. Okay, so now we've created the handle. So let's select all of these segments and then X vertices. I'll delete everything. So let's find a better way. X segment. Now the segments we've clicked are deleted. So let's tab out and then let's give the panel thickness. Okay, so let's go to the object dart properties and then go to geometry. And then go down to the bevel and increase the depth. This is the handle for our Vesak Lantern. So let's click on the base and then tab in. So now let's go B or select here to go to face select mode and then select the top face. Now let's delete it. Do the same at the bottom. That is the main basic shape of our Vesak Lantern. Okay, so now let's create the stripes for our Vesak Lantern. So Shift A, Mesh, and Plane. The plane will be hidden inside the Vesak Lantern, the same as the circle we used for the handle. So let's rotate this in the Z-axis 90 degrees. Okay, so now let's click on the frame and then tap to go in edit mode. Select edge here and then Shift S, cursor to active. This will bring the 3D cursor to what we selected in edit mode. So let's click on the plane and then Shift S, selection to cursor. This will bring the plane onto the 3D cursor. So let's go to Z-axis view, same as number pad 7, and then rotate. Now let's scale this in the Y-axis, then GZ, move it down. Now let's tab into edit mode, select that edge, and then GZ. Let's make it a little higher. Okay, so these don't look like stripes. So to make them look like stripes, let's tab in and then Control R. Now scroll your mouse wheel up to determine how much loop cuts you want. Okay, so now once you've done your loop cuts, let's select all and make sure you're in select mode, and then I to insert. So these will just insert faces. Let's click I again to insert. Now let's hold down Shift, make it slower. Okay, so now after you've done that, let's go Control I or go to Select and then Invert. Now this will invert the faces the other way. So now let's quickly delete. Now we end up with stripes. So let's select all of these and right click Subdivide. Now let's change the number of cuts to 3. Okay, so now after we've done that, we could change the factorial to make them look like actual stripes, blowing in the wind. Okay, so now once you're happy, tab out, and then you've got stripes. Okay, so now I'll tab back in, then click on first stripe. I'm just going to select all, select link. Now I'm just going to Shift E, duplicate, then E selection. Now I'll just tab out and then click on the frame again. I'll go to vertice select and then select vertice. Shift S, press it to active. Now when we tab out, cursor will be here. So now let's select the one we duplicated and E selection. And then let's click Shift S, selection the cursor. And I'll see something strange has happened. That's because the origin point is where the origin point was here on these stripes. So to change that, let's right click, set origin to geometry. Now when you Shift S, and then let's set to selection, it will go where we want to. Now let's move this in the Z axis. Okay, so now let's click on these stripes and then go to the physics properties and then add the cloth. Okay, so now when you play the animation, it will just fall. Okay, we don't want it to fall, so let's tab in, then click on Alt Z, X-ray view, and then select these top vertices. Now let's go to the object data properties and then click on vertex groups. And then let's add new. Now let's just name it stripe group. Okay, so after you've done that, make sure you've selected all your vertices and then click Assign. This will assign the vertices. Now after we've tabbed out, we can go back to the physics properties and then go down. Now when we go down, we might see something called shape. Expand the shape and then set the pin group to the stripe group we just made. Now when you play the animation, nothing will happen. Okay, so after you've done that, let's do the same. This stripe here. Go to cloth. Go to the pin group, and then you see there's no pin group. That's because we haven't assigned pin group to this. So let's tab in, select these top vertices and make sure you're on Alt Z. And then let's go to the object dot properties, vertex groups, smaller, right, group. Okay, and then let's assign this. Now when you go out, you could go to the physics properties, then go down to the shape, and then the pin group would be smaller stripe group. Now nothing will fall off. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's select the stripes, go to the Z-axis view, and then set its transform pivot point to 3D cursor. Now when you rotate this, it will rotate on the 3D cursor. The 3D cursor is here. We can't do anything. So let's Shift S, set the world origin. Or make it go to the center of the world. Now rotate it goes on the world axis. So Shift D, rotate Z-axis 90 degrees. Now let's click on Shift R, copy the action. Now we've got 4 stripes. Let's do the same here. Go to the Z-axis view, Shift D, and then rotate Z-axis 90 degrees. Now let's click on Shift R and Shift R. Now we've got 4 stripes. Okay, so now let's create a wind for this. So let's firstly move this all up. Okay, so now let's Shift A, force field, and then click on wind. Now it'll be hidden inside the Vesak Lantern. So let's move this in the Y-axis, rotate this in the Z-axis 90 degrees, and then move it down. Now when you play the animation, it'll dangle nicely. The wind isn't strong enough, so let's set the strength to 100. Okay, so now that it starts to blow away, so that's too much. Let's set the strength to 60. Yep, that's better. Okay, so now let's create multiple Vesak Lanterns. But before we do that, we have to set colors. So go to the viewport shading, and then click on the main body of the Vesak Lantern, also known as the base. Now let's go down to the material properties, and then set the base color to white. Okay, so now sometimes you'll see that no material has been here, so you just click new, and then you set the base color to white. Okay, so now let's also change this to a glass BSDF. Okay, so the glass BSDF basically shows what's inside. It's the roughness, and then that's the material. Now let's click on the frame, and then go to the base color and set it to complete red. And now the stripes, let's change them in different colors. Okay, so now let's agree that actually let's go to the Z-axis view, minus Z, and then select these. Okay, so after you select this, we could click new, and then new again, and then let's change the base color to blue, and then assign this. Now let's click on the second one, and then let's get a new material, and then assign the base color to red. Now the last one, we could assign as yellow. So let's click new again, and then base color to yellow. Make sure you're in edit mode when you do this. Okay, so now you've got nicely dangling. So let's click here, here and here, and then select the one colored glass, and then Ctrl L for link materials. This will do nothing. So let's click here, and then it did nothing. So that's because we haven't changed colors. So we have to delete all this, then go to the Z-axis view, quickly duplicate this. Okay, so now once you've got the four colors dangling nicely, you can do the same here. Material, such as green or yellow, and then click on these three, and then select it, and then Ctrl L for material. This will make them all yellow. Okay, so now let's go to render view. Then you can see it's now going nicely. Right? So to make it go nicely, let's go to the render properties and then set the render engine to cycles. Now you can actually see inside the Vesak Lantern. So let's quickly click on the base and then go to the material properties, and then set the roughness up a bit, 0.60 probably. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so now let's create a light. So Shift A, light, and then point light. This will be the light we're going to be using. And now uncheck multiple lines, and then the power 2 watts. Okay, so the machine is a bit slow, so I'll just change back to EV. This might take a bit of a while. Okay, so now once you've got your light in here, you can take all of this. So let's click on this. Actually, let's select everything here and then unselect the wind. If we don't need to duplicate, then Shift E, Y-axis, duplicate that, and then Shift R and Shift R. Now we've got 4 Vesak lanterns. Now the wind will be not strong enough. So let's click here and then go to physics properties and then change the strength. So that'll be enough actually. So now let's select the camera position. Click on the camera and then click the little camera icon. Now let's rotate this in the Z-axis. We can't do this because this is too fiddly. So let's click again. So bring up the toolbar, then go to view, camera to view. Okay, so now when we go our camera will follow as well. Okay, so let's find a good view, and then let's create a plane. So Shift A, Mesh, Plane. Now let's scale the plane up, the Z, move it down, and then bin, select that edge, and then E to extrude in the Z-axis. Now after you've tapped out, we could go to the modifier properties, add modifier, and then add the modifier as bevel. Okay, so I'll just get out of the camera And then you might see a little bevel has happened here. So let's increase the amount and then increase the segments to 12. Now let's shade smooth this. Okay, so now I have to set the material for this. So go to the material properties, add a new material, and set it to a material you really like. Okay, so now let's switch back to cycles. And then I'm also going to increase denoise. Take denoise and then I'm just going to take denoise and then set the time limit to about 10 seconds. Okay, so now after you've done that, I'll just go back to Eevee quickly. And then, let's change the color of this. So, for this one, it could be blue. So let's change the color to blue. But there's a problem. Everything's turning blue. So I'll just create a new material. Make it gloss BSDF, and then go into edit mode, select all, and then assign this. I'm just going to change the color to blue. Or actually, we could do something even better. We could change the color of the light. So let's click on the light, which is inside here. And then let's change the color of the light to blue. Okay, so let's see how that looks in cycles. Nice. So let's go back to the and change it. And then increase the power. Okay. So now let's go back to rendered V and then change the render engine to Eevee. Okay, so now that worked, I'll just click on these point lights and then change the color of them as well. I'll set this to yellow and then I'll set this to red, probably. Yeah, red's good. Okay. So now after you've done that, you might see the 4 colors have been going nicely. Okay, so now let's go to the render properties, go down to color management, and then set the look to very high contrast. If you want to make an Eevee render, this is going to be very good. But as we're making a cycles render, we don't need to do this. So this is the final render. These Vesak Lanterns are really... Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.